Hey again, welcome back to Savvy Health and Wellness at Home. My name is Benett. In this video I'd like to talk about joint health through a lot of movement modalities that tend to be an emphasis or emphases on moving with breath and with muscular effort, and through some of these shapes linking to one another without paying proper attention to the health of joints. So I just like to do a little warm-up that I try to get to every day, whether I'm gonna do a yoga practice or a lifting workout or go for a jog or whatever it is, and just try to, as soon as I wake up, maybe after coffee or something like that, but get to joint health. So you can start seated or standing if that's not, if seated brings discomfort, you can be seated like this or cross-legged or up on something, or however you like. I'm just going to start with the top and work our way down. So first place of movement will be the neck. And see if you can stabilize from your legs to your hips to your torso. And just stabilize. It doesn't need a whole lot of effort. It's something to keep you still. What we're trying to do is separate the movement from one joint to its counterpart joints. So if we're moving the neck, trying to keep from moving the spine around or shoulders or your rib cage. And just see if you can solidify all that. Start by turning your chin over your right shoulder, just as far as it'll go before you start to feel some movement in your spine or your shoulders. Just there. Nice. And start to bring your right ear toward your right shoulder, just dipping it over. Notice that moment when your left shoulder wants to come up, and just let it be open and stretching across the left side. And then gently roll your head back down, and bring your chin up to the sky, really getting some lift and reach with the chin. And then start to come over to the left side. Left ear down toward the shoulder, and your chin over the left shoulder. And start to bring your chin down to the front of your chest. All the way down, and take another round like that. Chin over your right shoulder, right ear to right shoulder, head back, roll it all the way along nice and slow, and then the left side, ear, the chin comes forward, and then gently all the way back up. Nice. Now every movement that we do, I'll just go through a couple times because it doesn't take much to get the joints loosened up. Just one or two rounds through each of these things and you should be feeling pretty loose by then. So we started with the neck. You're going to start with shoulders. So if you can, get arms straight down by your sides. Actually, we're going to start with the right side. So go ahead and keep your left arm where it is, wherever it's comfortable. Right arm straight down, and get your right hand connected to your side. And just start by retracting the scapula on your right side, so you draw it straight back behind you without lifting, without tucking it down. Just draw it back behind you. See if you can do it without bending your elbow. Nice. Then start to bring your right shoulder up toward your ear, again without bending the elbow, and then protract the scapula. Press it all the way forward, trying to send your right shoulder forward with the effort of the scapula behind, without the effort of the arm, and then depress the shoulder. You're going to press it down to your side. Take one more like that. Draw a shoulder blade back. Nice and slow. Right shoulder up near your ear. Press it forward. And then depress it down. And then take two in the opposite direction. Come forward using the effort with your shoulder blade up toward your ear. Retract and send it down. And once more like that. Seeing about isolating this movement to only the right shoulder. Nice. When you're done there, we can take it straight to the left side. Rest your right arm, left hand straight down. Start by drawing your shoulder blade back. Notice where and when you want to move other joints as well, because when you reach the end of the range of motion in one joint, it'll start to compensate by going elsewhere. So see if you can keep this motion to only the left shoulder. Draw it back, up toward your ear, around in front, and press it down. And again like that. Back, up, forward, and down. And then reverse it 2 rounds. forward, up, back, and down. And once more. Nice. Now things are starting to loosen up across the upper body, across your chest and your shoulders. Maybe take a little movement. Maybe there's a little more freedom there. Things are a little bit more woken up. Just let it be nice and loose. Nice. For our next one, you stand up. Be standing. Let's see if I can stay in the frame here. And so get your legs slightly wider than if you have a yoga mat. You can stand slightly wider than it long ways. I'm going to do it this way just so you can see me. You solidifying your legs. So we're going to try and reduce the amount of movement in the knees or in the hips. We're focusing only on the spine here. Start by bringing hands to opposite shoulder. Give a squeeze and then press your elbows down just to keep this all contained and in line. Nice. So now without moving your hips, start to round your spine forward. You can even start with your neck. Bring your chin down toward your chest. Start to round through your upper back and press all of your vertebrae out the back of your spine. Again, without moving your hips too much. It's a really subtle movement. Rounding forward. And start to turn, so you're twisting now everything in your torso to the right. You twist to look over to the right. Nice. And then just like you did with your ears, you were rolling your shoulder or your head around. Start to dip your right shoulder, lean back. It's a very subtle movement. Doesn't need to be a lot. Notice that moment when your hips want to press forward. You keep them right in the center. Roll all the way back, just a slight back bend, and start to come back around the left side, starting by bringing your left shoulder down to the left, turning your torso to look to the left, and then again, finishing out by rounding forward with your spine. Take another one like that. Stay rounded forward, nice and slow. Right shoulder dips. Start to turn to the right, roll it back around. Dip your left shoulder to the left, turn your torso to the left, and then round forward. We'll take two more the opposite direction. You start with the left shoulder. Well, start by rounding forward. Then left shoulder around, twist to look, slight back bend, roll it to the right, shoulder down, turn to look, round forward. And once more. Easy breath, gentle movements, nice and slow. When you get to the front, gently release and round your way back up. Nice. The next one, you continue this movement down, getting into the hips. You can stabilize on your left leg, and if that includes holding on to something for balance, that's okay. And just see about keeping your left side stable. It can be a hand against a wall, or a hand on a dresser, or maybe you're holding a broomstick, or whatever you have. You start by lifting your right knee up toward your chest. Notice the moment where your tailbone wants to tuck to compensate for that movement forward. And then draw it back. So only get this motion in the right knee, the right leg. It might not be that much. That's okay. Lift it up. Start to turn your right leg out to the right just as much as you can. And notice the moment when your left hip wants to come around again to compensate. See if you can keep things stable in the hips. Right knee goes out. Start to take your right heel back behind you. It's going to include some internal rotation with your right thigh. Again, see if you can only move the right leg. See, for me, it's not even that much. It's not that much. This has to do with how articulate we are with specific joints. And you can be the most flexible person and do all these wild moves, but it gets a little bit more complicated when you get down to just the one joint at a time. Your knee is out. Start to take your heel back behind. And start to bring your right knee down and inside. So you're continuing this internal rotation and extend your right heel back behind you so your knees come in line with each other. Nice. And then do once more. Lift the right knee just to that point until the hips want to move. Bring your right knee out to the right. Internally rotate so the right knee comes in, right heel goes back, and then extend the heel back so your knees come in together. I'm going to take two in the opposite direction. So you start by extending. Raise your right leg out to the right. See, I'm getting there where my both hips want to lift. See if you can get it only where the right leg is moving. Nice. Start to bring your right heel forward and in so your knee can lift, and then the knee inside. And once more. Extend, abduct, externally rotate, and bring it back to center, release it down. And you take the same thing with the left side. That means you hold on to something, maybe you can balance, really doesn't matter as long as we're able to get into the hip joint here. Start by lifting your left knee, send the knee out, and then the heel back. Internal rotation with the left thigh, then extend the heel behind, and your knees match. Do it once more. Lift, out, send the heel back, extend, knees match. And then 2 in the opposite direction. Send it back, knee comes out, heel comes in, and bring it forward. And once more, extend, reach out, heel in, some external rotation, knee in, release it down. Yeah, it's not supposed to be a lot, but you may be feeling something by now. When we get to these super intricate movements that the body's not used to, can actually take a lot of effort. Next one's going to be seated. Come down to the knees. Down to work on the knees. Be seated though. So left leg out long, just let it be. You can take your right forearm under your right knee and draw it up into your chest. You sit up nice and proud, nice and tall, and then the opposite hand maybe to the back of the knee. Yeah, like you're going to choke your leg out. And just have it here to stabilize the leg. You start by dorsiflexing your toes, bring them up toward your knee. Turn them in internally. You got a little internal rotation there. Point your toes in, heel out, and see if you can keep from moving your hip around. The reason we have this arm locked in here is to stabilize the leg. And then you have your toes turned in, extend the leg about 3/4 of the way. Because once we get to straight, the movement comes from the hip. We don't want that. We want to focus on the knee and the shin bones. Here, turn in. Now with your 3/4 extension, turn your heel in and your toes out. See, for me, it's not that much. I don't have much range of motion in my ankle, and that's okay. We're just working with what we got. Once you have that, turning your toes out, draw it back in, and then continue. Toes in, heel out, 3/4 extension. Toes out, heel in, retract. Nice, we'll take 2 in the opposite direction. So toes out, heel in, extend, toes in, bring it in. Once more, toes out, heel in, extend, toes in, drop back. Nice. Maybe give that leg a shake, let it rest. We're going to go over to the left side. Bring your arm behind, toes up toward your left knee first. You get that dorsiflexion. Turn your toes in, your heel out. Oh, see, I've got more on this side. So every side is going to be different. Even every day is going to be different. And you'll find more range of motion if you continue these every day. Turn your toe in, heel out, 3/4 extend. Turn your toes out, retract it back down. Once more like that. Toes in, extend, toes out, retract. We're going to reverse it 2 times. Toes out, extend, toes in, retract. Once more. Take it around. Nice. And release it down. Maybe give those a bounce. Nice. Next one, you come back to the right leg. This time, interlace your hands, bring it around your shin or around the knee where it meets your shin. What you're trying to do here, we're going to get into the ankle. So we're trying to stabilize the knee joint so that when we get to the end of our range of motion in the ankle, it doesn't then compensate by going into the knee and then eventually up into the hip. So stabilize here. And start by flexing your toes up toward you. Nice. And then from here, start to press your toes back down. Just as much effort as you can get. It's a little bit of effort, just a little bit, but it is the extent of the effort. You may start to feel it in the back of the calf there. Again,
Lift up, dorsal flex. And then press down. Now keeping the ball of your foot pressing down, lift all 5 toes. Reach your pinky toe out. Depending how much time you spend in shoes or how much time you spend walking around, this may be fairly difficult. Stay for another moment and set your 4 little toes down. Keep your 1 big toe reaching up. Nice. And then reverse it. Lift all toes up. Press your big toe down. See if you can do it without lifting your foot. I'm going to take 1 more like that. All 4 toes down, big toe lift. And then reverse it. Big toe down, 4 toes up. Yeah, it might start to feel a little weird in the foot. It's not muscles we often use. Don't really need to be that dexterous with our toes in our cushy lifestyles. And then release the foot, maybe a little shake, maybe a little wiggle, squeeze and flare your toes. Just get all that effort out of there. Take it to the left side. Stabilize the knee, stabilize the shin. Start by lifting your toes up toward your knee just as much as you can. Hold for just a moment. And then press them back down into the ground. And do that once more. Lift. Without moving the knee and press it back down. Now pressing the ball of your foot. Lift all 5 toes up. Really spread them out. As wide as you can. Pinky toes reaching. Big toes reaching. And set your 4 little toes down. Big toes lifting. This side's a little bit harder for me. And then switch it. Big toe down. All the others lift. And then once more. 4 toes down. The big toe lifts up. And then reverse it. Big toe down. Little toes up. Nice. Release that. Give it a shake. Anything else? Oh yeah, my wrist. Duh. I'm supposed to do wrists. So, with your wrist, you're going to stabilize. You're going to supinate. Show palm of your hand up. Use your other hand to stabilize. Now we're not getting into radia ulnar. We're not getting into this movement here. That has to do with the elbow. See if you can stabilize your forearm. Press your flat palm forward. So you're bringing your fingertips down. Yeah. Now with this, reaching downward. Reach the thumb side of your hand out toward the thumb side. And if you're working with your right hand, you reach your hand out to the right without moving your forearm. So it's going to come to, the movement's going to come to your wrist, reaching out and around. Keep a flat palm, fingertips reaching, start to lift your fingertips up toward your face. Okay, so when you get to the top, start to roll your hand inward to the pinky toe side, or pinky side. And then re-extend fingertips down flat. And do that once more. Roll around to the thumb side, flat palm comes back up. Roll around to the pinky side. I'm going to keep saying that. And then show flat palm. Nice. We're going to twice in the other direction. Pinky side, flat palm up, thumb side, bring it right back down. And once more. Nice and slow. Nice. And take it over to the left side. Left palm face up, stabilize the forearm, press your fingers away, flat palm forward. Start by rolling your hand out to the thumb side, flat palm comes up, pinky side, and re-extend, flat palm down. Once more like that, nice and slow. Speed is not the answer here. And reverse it twice through. Extend, pinky side, come up, thumb side, re-extend. Once more, all the way around. Nice. Give it a shake. Those are some helpful joint warm-ups, whether you're working out or exercising a lot, or you have a regular yoga practice, or maybe you're just getting started. Those things will be helpful. If you practice them every single day, I promise you, you will get better. Your range of motion will increase. Send us questions if you have them, comments, concerns, all that good stuff. Otherwise, thanks for joining. See you next time.